Alright, everyone, good morning, and today is Saturday, June 15th, 2024, at 09:53. And today we've got a day one outlook to look at. Let's see what we've got here today. So, looks like we got a slight risk up here in Montana, up in the North and South Dakota. And we got another one over here in Iowa and Nebraska, it looks like. But a teeny little bit of Minnesota is actually under this, as well as a little bit of South Dakota over here is under this too. We do have a little bit of a northern corner of Wyoming under a slight risk as well. Also got a marginal outside of the slight risk. We got a marginal across a little bit of Nebraska here, going into Wyoming through Montana through the Dakotas. We also have a marginal risk here, basically extending from Texas out through New Mexico through Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri, into Iowa, through Iowa, through Minnesota, and Wisconsin. So, wow, okay. Anyway, let's see what we've got for today's risks. Looks like we've got Omaha, Lincoln, Sioux City, Rapid City, and Council Bluffs under a slight, and Kansas City, Minneapolis, Wichita, St. Paul, and Lubbock under a marginal. Okay, so let's see what we've got going on today for the tornado risk. We got a 5% in North Dakota, and a 5% in both Nebraska and Iowa. That's basically what we got. And then the surrounding is a 2%. Ooh, it even dips into Canada. Look at that. The 2% even dips in a little bit of Canada. Wow. We got Montana, a little bit, and a little bit of Dakotas under the 2%. But outside the 5% over here, we've got a little bit of Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, and Nebraska under the 2%. So let's see what we've got going on here today. So it looks like we've got Omaha, Lincoln, Sioux City, Council Bluffs, and Ames under a 5%. And Kansas City, Des Moines, Overland Park, and Sioux Falls having a 2%. So definitely I would say there might be an isolated tornado, but if one does touch down and does produce damage, it could be just an EF1, EF2. I would say an EF2 would be tops. I don't think an EF3 would be ruled out. There's definitely not, but you never know what the heck these tornadoes would do if they were to touch down. So those are just my predictions. Anyway, here we go. We're going to the damaging wind risk. We've got 15% across Montana, the Dakotas, into Wyoming, and we also got this 5% up here going through Kansas and Nebraska, Iowa, and a little bit of Missouri here, and a little bit of Minnesota. But of course, we got the 5% surrounding the Montana, Wyoming, into the Dakotas, into Nebraska, and of course we got 5% here, stretching from Texas all the way through here, all the way out to Wisconsin. So let's see what we've got going on here today with the wind-wise. We've got Minot, Dickinson, Williston, Glendive, and Sydney under a significant severe. Omaha, Lincoln, Sioux City, Rapid City, and Council Bluffs under a 15%, and Kansas City, Milwaukee, Wichita, St. Paul, and Lubbock under a 5%. So definitely significant severe, mostly is in the Dakotas into Montana, I think is what we're going to see. But we could still see some significant severe here. We could see 60 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts could be possible. So please stay weather aware for the damaging winds. We could see that over the course of the afternoon here. In today's hail risk, looks like we got hail risk mainly in Montana and North Dakota. We also, of course, have the 15% dipping into South Dakota, in Wyoming, a little bit of Wyoming here. We got a 5%, of course, outside of that, going further into Montana and Wyoming, in Nebraska, and to the Dakotas. We also have a 15% here, of course, of hail risk, including parts of Nebraska, South Dakota, no, Kansas, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, and Minnesota a little bit. See, I know my states. I've lived here for basically all my life. Anyway, we have a 5% stretching from Texas all the way through New Mexico, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri, and Minnesota into Wisconsin. So there you have it. So let's see what we've got for today's hail risk today. Looks like we got Minot, Dickinson, Williston, Glendive, and Sydney under a significant severe. Omaha, Lincoln, Sioux City, Rapid City, and Council Bluffs under a 15%. Kansas City, Minneapolis, Wichita, St. Paul, and Lubbock under a 5%. So definitely, I see hailstones of maybe 1 inch to baseball size hail could be possible with this system. Can't exactly rule that out, but yeah. In the 5%, I would definitely. I think it reset on me. Definitely would see 1 to 2 inch hail, I would say, in the around 5% area. So definitely, there could still be some hail risks, definitely, and tornado risk. So everything exists here. Tornado risk here, hail risk here, or damaging wind risk here, and hail risk here. That's what I would definitely say for today's severe weather. But let's just see what the Storm Prediction Center has to say. So you heard my predictions. Let's see what they say. Scattered severe thunderstorms with damaging winds and large hail are possible from the late afternoon into the evening across the mid-Missouri Valley and also from eastern Montana to central North Dakota. A couple of tornadoes could occur in eastern Nebraska and western Iowa with isolated significant severe hail and wind possible across parts of the northern Great Plains. So yes, that's definitely what I would assume would be happening today. So we do have hail, damaging wind, tornado, and of course the slight risk for today. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. Hopefully you have a good forecast today. If it's sunny all day for you, that is just going to give the instability, very unstable, and good fuel for these storms. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed and stay weather aware and stay safe.